Okay, this is a rarity for me, and I don't know why I'm doing this. Maybe it's due to the fact that what I just saw pissed me off. Maybe it's due to the fact that I I, I want to give you guys some content. Maybe it's due to the fact that you guys want to look at my wonderful, and this is crooked, wonderful wall here of the greatest professional wrestlers I know. I know there's going to be people going to say that this Raw was great. Look at the hot Atlanta crowd. It was in Atlanta and it was hot, yes. But when you really see what you got, do you really believe that you're hyped for this SummerSlam? You got 19 days. What do we really have for SummerSlam? Really? What do we really have for SummerSlam? I don't see much. Look, Gunther. Who is his next challenger? Did they set him up for the next 19 days to have a real challenge? No. They gave him a match against Matt Riddle again. He whoops Matt Riddle's ass without Imperium by his side. And Giovanni is supposed to still be in hot water because he failed. And it makes people think, well, maybe they're breaking up Imperium. I don't know, and it doesn't really matter because this is still about Gunther. He wins, but what does he gain? Does he gain anything going into SummerSlam? No. He just gives an announcement that I am the greatest ring general. That means nothing. Where is his next challenger? Is it going to be within the next, next week? Which is going to give what? You're going to have about 8 to 10 days? 1 week beforehand you're going to give him a challenge? Or are you not going to give him a challenge, Vince? Because I don't see anything. Let's move on. Okay. What did we really get for Bronson Reed and Shinsuke Nakamura? Nothing. Bronson Reed going up against Shinsuke. They had their feud when Ricochet was involved. Now you exchange Ricochet for Tommaso Ciampa, who himself should have been put over, but he beat Miz, I understand, maybe twice now. But then he gets laid out by Bronson Reed. And then, no, once. I think he beat Miz once. And now Miz had his win back because of Bronson Reed. Now, Ciampa gets his ass destroyed by Reed. He wants to get revenge. Screws up Nakamura's match. Nakamura's pissed off. Now, mind you, I liked how pissed off he got. That's something we don't normally see from Nakamura. He was pissed. And I liked his attitude being pissed. He's tired of people interfering with his shit. So, here we go with that. But, does Nakamura going to gain anything out of this? Is he going up against Ciampa now? And what does this really give Ciampa? He won against The Miz when it should have been somebody else. Ergo, Seth Rollins, if I remember correctly. It was supposed to be Seth, if I remember correctly. But now, he's stuck between Bronson Reed, if Bronson Reed's going to still deal with Nakamura, and he's in the middle of this, where either he can go bounce between them, maybe. What do these three gain? Are they going to be in a three-way feud? Does that mean they're going to gain anything from it? I don't know. Okay, let's make this real clear. Was the Viking rules match good? The fans made everything much more lively. Let's make that clear. And I'm sure just Alex and JD will agree to that. The fans were very loud, next to some canned heat. I think there was canned pops and canned heat that was in the show. But not much, because the Atlanta fans were pretty loud. But it was still there. But do I believe it was a good match? Titus O'Neil did not make it great at first because he seemed really awkward about it. I don't think he's done anything for WWE in so long he seemed choppy about it. But later he got a little into it. Seeing that Chad Gable is a GOAT hurts to know they'll do nothing really much with him. He's stuck in the same place as he's been. Now he's over, yes. But does that over mean it's good? No. He's not doing anything other than the same thing over and over again. Yes, they're over, but it does not mean they're over with total relevancy. Yes, Maxine Dupree is now the more bigger focus out of a Chad Gable than it is with Chad Gable, Maxine Dupree, and Otis. No, it's about Maxine Dupree, and that's the problem. So he's in the same spot. He's still the GOAT, but instead of the Alpha Academy, thank you, and I like it, it's not about him. It's Maxine Dupree. And guess what? Viking Raiders won. They didn't win anything. That's Alpha Academy. What does that mean? They're going to keep feuding with each other when it should be now over? I don't see anything. It's just empty. Okay, let's get this over with. Shayna Baszler and the Ronda Rousey. When it came to Nikki Cross, she was just meant to be a body. She didn't even have less than 10 seconds. The minute that ring, ding, within a few seconds, she tapping her ass out. And this is about setting up their match at SummerSlam, which many people will say, finally, great. Yeah, you should be glad about that. Guess what? This should have happened in WrestleMania. This should have happened in WrestleMania. I'm sorry. If you're happy about it, more power to you. I don't hate it. I expected this should have happened. It needed to happen. You got two of the original horsewomen of WWE. And I know I could say MMA, but it's more about WWE. Shayna Baszler was more important than a Charlotte Flair because she was much more over. She was well more built. She's an actual fighter. And then you got Ronda, who's the same thing. And they sacrificed her for Charlotte Flair. They sacrificed her, and this is Shayna Baszler, for Ronda Rousey. Now we know Ronda's leaving, and she wants to put over Shayna. But wouldn't it have been better for Shayna to get put over at, guess what, WrestleMania? No. Both of them wanted to tag together, but then they noticed how sucky the division is, and they finally came to a point where Shayna is still going to be with the company because she wants to be there, but Ronda does not want to be with the company. She's done with it, and now they're doing it here when it should have been done months before. I'm just saying the truth. There's no reason for me to lie. And I'm not going to say to CM Punk, tell me when I'm telling lies. I don't need to copy everybody else. I'm not lying. This is just me. I'm not going to do someone else's catchphrase, baby. I'm not. Well, actually, I do the catchphrase of can you give me a like, if you will. That is the Dusty way. But recent, no, that's what everybody else does. I'll do a Dusty, but I'm not doing the CM Punk. Not because it ain't cool, but I just want to follow everybody. Anyway, let's move on. Let's Becky. I knew there had to be a step. If they're going to continue this after the loss from Zoe Starks to Becky, it had to have some type of step. We knew it was going to happen, and it has. But the most botchy segment I've seen where it sounded, and you guys tell me below if you heard Trish Stratus say what I'm about to say. I could be wrong. Maybe my hearing's getting bad. I am an old man. In a few weeks, I'll be older. My birthday's coming up. I'm going to be an old-ass man. I actually will probably do an Impact on my birthday. So you probably guessed by now that it's going to be coming up soon. But still, let me give it to you like this. Was the opening with Miz TV okay? No. But it was the best what it was. Becky tried to make the best of it, demanding that Trish and Zoe come out. Fine. Zoe's coming out. You see I'm not even saying Zoe's ugly either. Zoe, she may not have this. And she has a little bit of this. And she's not ugly. None of them are. But let's make it clear. You got a Zoe who's got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then you got and a Trish Stratus. She looks like a little kid to her, even though she's bigger than her. But when you hear Trish Stratus talk where it didn't work that well, and she had maybe one moment when she's telling the crowd to shut up, and they did boo. So at least her persona for a moment worked. She made it very clear, I'm not facing you in a match. It's not done. We are finished. We're moving on. And she says, I want my match. And that is Becky. And she said, I will do anything. Basically, that's what Becky was willing to do. So Trish said, okay, you want this? Because she said clearly before that I'm bigger than you. I've lasted longer than you. And you know that I'm better than you. I've done more in a year than you ever did in your time. That pissed her off, and now we get the stip. First stip, you got to go through Zoe because you didn't beat her. Fine, she says, got it. Second, if you lose, you say, on your hands and knees, thank you, Trish Stratus. Fine. Third, and this is where it sounded like I could be wrong. You guys tell me, did it sound a little bit like it? She said the third one is that you got to get tattooed on your chest, thank you, tits. Tell me if I heard that. That Trish Stratus, instead of saying thank you, Trish, she sounded like she said thank you, tits. It sounded like it. So I don't know if it's just me, if I just heard her incorrectly, but she botched her line saying that instead of saying thank you, Trish, thank you, Trish, across Becky's titties, it's thank you, tits. Well, that'll make it easier for Becky because she don't got that much tits. Having a little bit more incentive will make Seth happy. So that's what you get. So, we got Trish Stratus set up. We got that. Then we get the Seth Rollins and the Finn Balor segment. It was obvious that Finn was going to get a second chance. It is obvious Finn was going to have his time. They agreed, and that's him and Damian, that he gets first crack. Fine. There was no way they weren't going to try and set this up. And now they have set up is now two things now. We got Trish Stratus and Becky, and we got Seth getting his ass handed to him in that segment. I'm not even going to explain much about the segment about he wants to take everything from him. He's been saying that already. This isn't what he hasn't said. He's already said this twice. That he wants to take everything from Seth Rollins that he took. So what was the difference? Seth telling him, I don't care, this is bigger than me. If you want revenge, just whoop my ass now. And guess what? As he walks away, throws the chair away, he whoops his ass. And it's not over. Because guess what? Seth attacks him after the last match, which I'm going to get to right now. Last match. That is Judgment Day versus the tag champs, which, haven't we seen them face each other enough now? Am I wrong? How many times have we seen Damian go up against the tag champs, or Dom go up against the tag champs, or Finn go up against the tag champs? It's been a mix of them over the last couple of months. I've seen it enough. Where are the other tags? Where are the other tags? Where? Who else? Are you telling me that because you got literally Judgment Day is the only tag team they can deal with when you just had the Viking Raiders win a match and you got the Alpha Academy lose a match? Is that the only teams they got there? What happened to Hit Row? Where are the Creeds? Where are any tag teams that they could throw at the tag champs? There are none. And now with 19 days away, are they going to have any type of competition? Are we going to get anything? No. I mean, this could have been and it was a screwy ending, but they still won. And I'm getting to the women in a minute. Don't think I'm forgetting about Liv, Raquel, and the tag belts. I'm getting to them in a moment. But it was nothing for the tag champs. Yes, they got cheered, but what's for SummerSlam? Nothing. So we currently have something for Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch, and we got some for Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Now let's do Cody. Let's get that over with. Cody opens the show. He's demanding a Brock Lesnar come out. He will wait for the entire day. He'll be there now. He'll be there at the 9 o'clock hour, the 10 o'clock hour, and near 11. He doesn't care. But 2 false starts of a Brock Lesnar song. He goes in, gets a chair shot, gets a Kimura on twice in front of his mother and relatives. And then finally, we get an acceptance of a match. That means nothing because there's no stipulation to end this. There's no real reason why Brock Lesnar even started this. Hearing Corey Graves say that the reason Brock was upset and started with Cody Rhodes was because he had to open the show with Omos at WrestleMania, if I'm remembering, does not mean a feud. Got to hear from Brock. You got to hear from Cody. You hear nothing. And now we get this match. Another match between the two. You got the Kimura put on his arm twice. He get his ass kicked. Get F5 to the floor in front of his mom and relatives. And what does that give us? A third match that's weaker than the other two. Weaker than the other two. The only match that has any relevancy is Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Now, let's go to the women's tag titles. Why did that happen? Because they wanted Raquel and they wanted Liv to drop those titles to Chelsea and look, I don't hate Chelsea. I love Chelsea. I don't hate Sonya. She did some really decent work when she was one of the directors of Authority. But now, after all this time, and you got 19 days left before SummerSlam, you could have just given them the match there. You couldn't just set it up. No. What did you do? You have the match now. You have Rhea Ripley, who the first time approached a Raquel Rodriguez for no reason. None. Approach her. When she's trying to get a tag title, when she's trying to get backup, there was no reason. Then when she did win him back with the partner that she really wanted to be, you got Rhea Ripley with no tag partner, but is willing to literally face down both the champions like she's going to take them both on. That would have actually been interesting to see her do a 2-on-1 handicap match where she's trying to win both titles just to show how damn dominant she is. And I think that would have worked. But no, what do we get here? She approaches Liv. She approaches Raquel. She headbutts Liv. She then kicks Raquel in the shin. Was it the shin or a knee? I don't even know. She messes them up so when they have the match, they lose. And now we get Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville as the new tag champs, which now invalidates the titles. You know why? What was the point? The only reason they could have won that was because Vince wanted to get them off them as quickly as possible because he didn't give a damn. Honestly. Because there's no other challengers. There's no one else. Tell me who's left. There's no other challengers. Chance and Carter. Why weren't they showing up? Where are the other women? What is the point? Hell, right now, I would have rather seen Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Yes, they're on SmackDown, but at least you could have shown that on SmackDown and done something with them before you dropped it to Sonya and Chelsea. Nothing. No setup for SummerSlam for them. Zip. So, the only other thing that's left, and there's only one other thing that's left to quickly talk about, is the match that a lot of people are going to anticipate is going to be a very good match, which I also agree. And that's going to be Ricochet and Logan Paul. Even though this was a quick interview for let me give it to you like this. He's not great on the mic when it comes... Ricochet's not great on the mic, but he gets his point across the best he can. He's setting it up This is it. So I'm interested in seeing that. That's it. Practically, that's it. Look, what do we got? We got Finn and Seth. We got Cody and Brock Lesnar. We now have Trish Stratus, who wants tits written across a Becky Lynch's breast. We got Ricochet, and we got Logan Paul. Nothing about the Intercontinental Champion. Nothing. Of course, they're trying to say something with Drew probably next week. Nothing for the tag champions. Maybe they'll set something up next week when it comes to our undisputed tag champions. Maybe on SmackDown. I don't even know if they're going to go to SmackDown. They've been mainly on Raw. So, that's it. You got 4 matches, and then you could have 2 more, but they have no setup for them, and you have 19 days left. And I have no major hype. Other than Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. I'm not feeling much from Cody and Brock. I barely feel anything from Becky and Trish Stratus, unless they're going to do a fake tattooing of Becky's tits. That would be interesting. I really don't feel anything at all. I know there's more, but you guys tell me below how you feel. Peace.